Economic growth and economic development. As per the economist Amartya Sen, the Indian Nobel laureate, economic growth is one aspect of economic development. Also, United Nations see it like this. Economic development focuses not only on man's materialistic need, but it focuses on overall development or rise in its living standards. Economic growth without investment in human development is unsustainable and unethical, according to Amartya Sen. Economic growth is equal to when the economy produces more goods and services, we call it as economic growth. It is a quantitative measure which considers the rise in the output produced in an economy or nation in a particular period in its monetary value. The key parameters of economic growth in any economy are its gross domestic product and gross national product, which helps in measuring the actual size of an economy. Why economic growth matters or why it is important? Economic growth is about increase in production within the economy. It is important because our living standards are influenced by our access to goods and services. Without growth, individuals can only enjoy rising living standards at the expense of others in society. With economic growth, we can all potentially be better off. What is economic development? The process in which people in a country become wealthier, healthier, better educated, and have greater access to good quality housing. We call it as economic development. Literacy rate, infrastructure, internet access, academic level, access to good quality housing, standard of living, access to good health care, everything comes under economic development. Economic development projects a broader picture of an economy which takes into account an increase in production level or output of an economy along with an improvement in the living standard of its citizens. Economic development focuses more on socio-economic factors rather than the just quantitative increase in production. It is a qualitative measure which measures improvement in technology, labor reforms, rising living standards, broader institutional changes in an economy. Economic growth is concerned about quantitative measure, whereas economic development is concerned about both quantitative and also qualitative measure. Human Development Index is an apt tool to measure the real development in an economy. The Human Development Index is a summary measure of average achievement in key dimensions of human development, that is, a long and healthy life, being knowledgeable, and have a decent standard of living. And all these are interconnected. The Human Development Index is a composite index of life expectancy at birth, adults' literacy rate, and standard of living measured as a logarithmic function of GDP adjusted to purchasing power parity. These were devised and launched by Pakistani economist Mahbub ul Haq in 1990. Our Nobel laureate Amartya Sen utilized Haq's work in his own work on human capabilities. It has been used since then by United Nations Development Programme in its annual Human Development Report. Developmental path of India based on GDP and employment. In the development path of India, it first undertook the policy of closed trade. That is, after independence, our government was very keen to follow the policy of closed trade. That means to give a thrust to domestic industries and reduce dependence on foreign products and companies. Trade and interaction with the outside world remained limited. This outlook continued till 1991, when India finally decided to open its borders to free trade and liberalize its economy by allowing foreign companies to enter the Indian economy. India trade policy trend. Till the early 1990s, India was a closed economy. Average tariffs exceeded 200%. Quantitative restrictions on imports were extensive. There were stringent restrictions on foreign investment. Our country began to cautiously reform in 1990s. India's trade to GDP ratio has increased from 15% to 35% of GDP between 1990 and 2005. India has recently signed regional and bilateral trade agreements. A thrust was given to employment generation under the 5-year plans. This was to make up for a rising population and lacking jobs to absorb the increased workforce size. Rural development was also given importance in India for the important constituent it was of the Indian landscape. Poverty alleviation came as corollary of rural development and a part of the development path of India. India inherited a poverty-stricken economy from the British rule, which had destroyed its resource base completely. So, eradication of poverty was one of the prime goal for the Indian government. The public sector was given significant importance. Private companies and industries were subjected to strict regulations and standards. It was believed that the government was the sole protector of the people and would work towards social welfare. The private sector is a part of the economy that is run by individuals and companies for profit and is not state controlled. Companies and corporations that are government run are part of what is known as public sector, while charities and other non-profit organizations are part of the voluntary sector. India has sustained rapid growth of GDP for most of the last 2 decades, leading to rising per capita income and a reduction in absolute poverty. Per capita incomes have doubled in 12 years. In per capita income, placing India comes just inside the middle income country category. Life expectancy. It is a statistical measure of the average time an organism is expected to live based on the year of its birth, its current age, and other demographic factors, including gender. Life expectancy at birth is 65 years, and 44% of children under 5 are malnourished. The literacy rate for the population aged 15 years and above is only 63% compared to a 71% figure for lower middle income countries. India has followed a different path of development from many other countries. Factors supporting Indian development. India's demographic dividend. India to become world's youngest country by 2020, average age of 29 years. The fast growing population of working age is an important factor. India is experiencing demographic transition that has increased the share of working age population from 58% to 64% over the last 2 decades. 1.5 crore youth join job market every year, but only 2% gets trained. There are 700 million Indians under the age of 35, and the demographics look good for Indian growth in the next 20 years at least. And it will be possible if we achieve 100% literacy rate. India has a strong legal system and many English speakers are there in India. This has been a key to attract inward investment from companies such as those specializing in information technology. India is the world's second largest English speaking country. There are over 100 million people speaking English in India. India is a land of diversity. India's economy has successfully developed in highly advanced and attractive clusters of businesses in the technology space. External economies of scale have deepened their competitive advantages in many related countries. For example, Bengaluru, the IT hub of India, witnessed the rapid emergence of global software businesses. What are economies of scale? Economies of scale arise when the cost per unit falls as output increases. Internal economies of scale. As a business grows in scale, as the business grows in its size, its costs will fall due to the internal economies of scale and ability to produce units of output more cheaply. External economies of scale are those shared by a number of businesses in the same industry in a particular area. So we can say businesses in the same industry tend to cluster in together in economies of scale. Growth of GDP and economic policies. Many economic policies have been framed by the Indian government since independence for increasing rate of economic growth and economic development. Agricultural policy. Agricultural policy is a set of government decisions and actions relating to domestic agriculture and imports of foreign agricultural products. Some overarching themes include risk management and adjustment, economic stability, natural resources and environmental sustainability, research and development, and market access for domestic commodities. Some agricultural policies are price policy, land reform policy, green revolution, irrigation policy, food policy, agricultural labor policy, and cooperative policy. Industrial policy. Industrial development is a very important aspect of any economy. It creates employment, promotes research and development, leads to modernization, and ultimately makes the country self-sufficient. In fact, industrial development even boosts other sectors of the economy like agricultural sector and service sector because the raw materials needed for the industrial sector is provided by all other sectors of the economy. It is also closely related to the development of trade. Several industrial policies have been enacted. Since 1948, industrial policy on large-scale industries, example, textile industry policy, sugar industry policy, price policy of industrial growth, small-scale industrial policy, and industrial labor policy. The last but not the least is the new economic policy of India. The economy of India had undergone policy change in the beginning of the 1990s. This new model of economic reforms is commonly known as LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. These economic reforms had influenced the overall economic growth of the country in a significant manner. The branches of new economic policy of India are liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Now let us see what is liberalization. The pre-liberalization era is prior to 1991. The post-liberalization era is the present era. Why did it start? In 1991, India faced a balance of payment crisis. What is balance of payment? The difference between the value of exports and imports is called as balance of payment. When the value of exports is more, we call it as favorable balance of payment. And when the value of imports are more, we call it as unfavorable balance of trade. And in 1991, we faced a balance of payment crisis. It had to pledge its gold to foreign countries, and it was a deal with the International Monetary Fund. Then Prime Minister of India, Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, knew that it was time for some bold decision. July 1991, India has taken a series of measures to structure the economy and improve the balance of payment. The new economic policy introduced changes in several areas. The policy has salient features which are liberalization, extending privatization, and globalization of the economy. It means the process of opening of Indian economy to trade and investment with the rest of the world. It means that opening the door for doing business to all over the world. Till 1991, India had an import protection policy wherein trade with the rest of the world was limited to exports. Foreign investment was very difficult to come into India due to a bureaucratic framework. After the start of the economic liberalization, India started getting huge capital inflows and it has emerged as the second fastest growing country in the world. The policies of liberalization included opening the gate for international trade and investment, deregulation, the removal of government controls from an industry or sector to allow for a free and efficient market, initiation of privatization, tax reforms, inflation and controlling measure. Advantages of liberalization. Development of economy without capital investment, increase of foreign investment, increase of foreign exchange reserve, increase in consumption and control over price, reduction in dependence on external commercial borrowings. Disadvantages, loss to domestic units, increased dependence on foreign nations. Privatization. According to World Bank, privatization is the transfer of state-owned enterprises to the private sector by sale of going concerns or by sale of assets following their liquidation. Increasing inefficiency on part of public sector led to privatization. The forms of privatization are denationalization, joint venture, leasing, and franchising. The positive impacts or the positive effects of privatization are private companies cut costs and be more efficient, increase competition, more responsive to customer complaints. The negative effects, there will be the lack of public service because the aim will be profit, earning more profit, and job losses, and there will not be any job security, and privatization is expensive. Globalization. Globalization means reduction or removal of government restriction on the movement of goods and services, capital, technology, and talent across the national boundaries. It is an increasing interdependence, integration, and interaction among people and cooperation in various locations around the world. The impacts: expansion of market, development of infrastructure, higher living standard, international cooperation are positive effects. Negative effects: cutthroat competition, rise in monopoly, takeover of domestic firms, and increase in inequalities. Gross national happiness. The term gross national happiness was coined in 1972 during an interview by a British journalist for the Financial Times at Bombay Airport, when the then King of Bhutan, Jigme Singye Wangchuk, said gross national happiness is more important than gross national product. In 2011, the UN General Assembly passed a resolution, Happiness, towards a holistic approach to development, urging member nations to follow the example of Bhutan and measure happiness and well-being, and calling happiness a fundamental human goal. The four pillars of gross national happiness are sustainable and equitable socio-economic development, environmental conservation, preservation and promotion of culture, good governance. The 9 domains of GNH: psychological well-being, health, time use, education, cultural diversity and resilience, and good governance, community vitality, ecological diversity, and resilience and living standards.